This lesson is over rates. So let's look at our number routine about how do you know. Find the ratio of red to blue. Create a table finding an equivalent ratio. So ratio means comparing two quantities. So let's see. I see red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, maybe I should have a pen. So I see 5 reds. Is compare it to the number of blue. This is called a part-to-part relationship. Blue, there are 6 blues. They are part-to-part relationship comparing two different colors. There could be a part-to-whole relationship like red to the whole item, that's all of them, or blue to all of them. So let's create a table. So we have 5 red, 6 blue. Is there another ratio we can compare it to? What if I double this picture? That'd be a ratio times 2 times 2. That would be 10 reds, 12 blue. What if I double 10 and 12? That would be 20 and 24. So what's the relationship between 5 to 20? The relationship is times 4. What's the relationship between 6 to 24? Times 4. Well, that word is called scale factor. The scale factor is times 4. Scale factor is what are you multiplying by to get the relationship. All right, so what's your rate? Work with your tribe to complete the activities below. Record only your data, not your tribes, in the places below provided. How many times were you able to complete the following activity in 10 seconds? Only count the whole number of times of each activity is completed. Do not count half a hop. So let me start my timer. So hop, 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 hop. Getting tired. Hop, hop, hop. So I did 11 hops. All right, imagine I did 11 hops. Oh, I'm just out of breath. So I did 11 hops on one foot. It took me 10 seconds to do it. I would like you to express this rate as a fraction. So rate is comparing two different, and it's right here, it's comparing two different quantities with different units. The units are hops and seconds. So express this rate as a fraction, 11 hops, 10 seconds. A unit rate is a rate that is written as a fraction so that it has a denominator of 1. What is the unit rate for 1 second expressed as a fraction? This is your number of hops per second. You may have heard the word per, like for example, you may hear miles per hour. That means how many miles do you drive for every hour? How many miles do you drive for every 1 hour? What else do you have per? Miles per hour, miles per gallon, mpg. Like this car can drive, my Toyota Corolla can drive about, I believe it could drive about 40 miles per gallon. That means 40 miles for every 1 gallon, 40 miles for each gallon, 40 miles for 1 gallon. So how many hops can we do in 1 second? So I was able to do 11 hops in 10 seconds. How do I break it down from 10 seconds to 1 second? What do you think the relationship here is from 10 to 1? You could say divide by 10, divide by 10. So what is 11 divided by 10? Well, let's see. 10 goes to 11 one time. How do I get rid of this remainder? I annex a 0. How many 10s go to 10? One time. So it's every second I do 1.1 hops. I mean like 1 hop, a full hop, and then I do it like just barely get off to do a next hop. So the relationship is divide 10. Another way to say that is, do you remember reciprocal times, what's the reciprocal of 10 or 10 1? 1/10. So 10 times a tenth. If I had 10 and I found 10 parts of it, it'd be 1. So 11 times 1/10, that would be 11/10. That's why we divide 11 divided by 10. So using the rate, so how many times could you perform the task in 1 minute? So how many hops do I do in 10 seconds? 11 hops. What is a minute equal to? 60 seconds. What is the scale factor or the relationship between 10 seconds to 60 seconds? Hopefully you said times 6. So I'm able to do 66 hops in 60 seconds or 66 hops in 1 minute. Using this rate, how many times could you perform the task in 10 minutes? So I can do, let's go back here, 66 hops in 1 minute. But how do I build a relationship to 10 minutes? Times 10 times 10, that'd be 660 hops in 10 minutes. You would think you'd be tired by that, but you know what? I go to the gym every day. Using this rate, how many times could you perform the task in 1 hour? So I can do 66 hops in 1 minute. And what is that hour equal to? 60 minutes. So what's the relationship from 1 minute to 60 minutes? The relationship is times 60 times 60. And I'm going to have to figure out what's 66 times 60. 0. 0 times 6 is 0. Cancel this out. 6 times 6 is 36. Carry to 3. 6 times 6 is 36 plus 3 is 39. 3,960 hops in 1 hour or 60 minutes. So what we've been doing something is called rate and unit rate. A rate is comparing two different quantities. So we compare hops to seconds. So it's two different quantities with different units. Hops and time are not the same type of units. A unit rate is a rate that is written as a fraction, so it has a denominator 1. Often with unit rates, you'll see the word per used. Dollars per magazine, miles per hour, heartbeats per minute, and so on. Per means divide, define 1 unit. For example, if someone types 15 characters in 5 seconds, how many characters can they type every second? Per second, each second. What's the relationship between 15 to 3 and 5 to 1? It is divide by 5, divide by 5, or times, what's the reciprocal of this? 1/5 times 1/5, and that's where you get that. And then there's something called unit price. If the rate involves money like $20 per CD, then the unit rate is called unit price. The final unit price is cost per unit or cost over unit. So for example, if you paid $36.60 for 4 tickets, how do you find how much each ticket per ticket, every 1 ticket cost? The relationship is divide by 4, divide by 4. 36.60 divided by 4 is $9.15. Another way to say divide by 4, the scale factor is times the reciprocal 1/4 times 1/4. So here's an activity. The table below shows the distances and time it took 4 bus drivers to transport children to Camp Hope from 4 different cities. Mr. Sanchez, Mrs. Mill, Mr. Holloway, Mrs. Alexander are the bus drivers. It took them different hours to drive different distances. What does the expression 188 divided by 4 mean? Well, 188 represents the miles, and divided by 4 means the hours. So it's miles and hours. So we're dividing the miles by the hour, or we're dividing the distance by the time. So by doing this, you are going to find something called MPH, which is miles per hour. So we're going to find how many miles you drive every hour, each hour, every 1 hour. So write an expression to find the distance Mrs. Mills traveled in 1 hour. So where's Mrs. Mill? Right here. So she drove 168 miles in 3 hours. So we need to divide the 168 into 3 hours to find out how many miles she travels in 1 hour. So let's start our first question. Mr. Sanchez drove blank miles in 1 hour. So where's Mr. Sanchez? So he drove 188 miles. It took him 4 hours. So let's split this into 4 hours. This represents an hour, this represents an hour, this represents an hour, and this represents an hour. How many miles go in each hour? As you notice, they're all the same. The size of each one is the same. So we need to break 188 into 4 sections so we can find out each hour. So 4 goes in 18. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 4 times 2. 18 minus 16 is 2. Bring down to 8. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. Oh, it goes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So each hour, 47 miles, 47 miles, 47 miles, 47 miles. So in 4 hours, he drives 188 miles. Next person. Next person. Mrs. Mill drove 3 hours, 168 miles in 3 hours. 1 hour, 1 hour, and 1 hour. So we need to split this up into 3. We need to find out how many miles goes in each hour. So 3, let me write out the pattern for 3 for those if you need to. 16 to 15 is the closest. That goes in 5 times. 16 minus 15 is 1. I bring down the 8. 18 is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So 56 miles in 1 hour. So she drives 56 miles per hour, each hour, every 1 hour. Next person, Mr. Holloway. Holloway. Let's try and memorize this. Why just keep on? Holloway is 315, 5 hours. 315, 5 hours. So we need to split this into 5 different sections. This represents an hour, 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 hour. That's cursive, by the way, HR. So if I divide 315 into 5 different sections, 5 hours, can 5 go in 31? 6 times. Bring down the 5. How many 5s? Let me see. 5, 10, 15. It goes in 3 times. So, whoa, he drives fast. He drives 63 miles in 1 hour. That's 63 miles per hour, each hour, every hour. And the last person is Miss Alexander. She drives 112, 3 hours. 112, 3 hours. 112 miles. That's 3 hours. So how many miles does she drive in each hour? The pattern for 3 is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Which one of these is closest to 1? None. Which one's closest to 11? 9. So it's the third number. 11 minus 9 is 2. Bring down to 2. Which one is closest to 22? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. I think there's one more, 21. So that's 21. That's the 7th number. Ooh, we have a remainder here. So there are many ways you could do this. You can get rid of the remainder by annexing a 0. Bring it down. So 3 going to, 3 times again. And it will be repeating as you keep saying. And I'm not going to continue. It does repeat. So 37 and 0.3 repeating, or 37 and 1/3 miles every hour. That's a slow bus driver. Very slow. So which driver do you prefer? I definitely prefer Mr. Holloway because he drives 63 miles for every hour. So 63 miles in this one. So what happens is he drove only 2 hours. This is 63 miles, 63 miles. That would be 126 miles. What if he drove for 3 hours? 63, 63, 63 would be 189 in 3 hours. So by drawing a bar diagram like this one, you're able to break it down and find different rates comparing the different hours to the miles. So that is rate and unit rate.